Welcome to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. And now, it's time for our story. Once upon a time, there was an Arafura file snake named Montgomery. Montgomery, the Arafura file snake, lived in a lagoon where he loved to slither around the plants and find new things. He was a curious file snake, and he loved to explore his surroundings. Some days, he would discover new flowers by the water that he's never seen before, and even some new animals to eat. One day, Montgomery was exploring, and he went a little farther than he usually did. He kept on exploring and finding new things to look at. And after a while, he ended up slithering farther away from the lagoon. And then, out of nowhere, he saw a small well sticking up out of the ground. "Some human must have made this here some time ago," Montgomery said to himself. Montgomery, the Arafura file snake, was curious. The well seemed nice and cool and cozy inside. He thought to himself, "I wonder if I could fit in there. If I go in, I wonder if I could climb out." He looked into the well, and some small rocks fell in and splashed in the water down in the well. "I wonder if there's a lot of water down there," Montgomery asked himself. "As long as there's some water in this hole, I think I can survive and make my way out." Montgomery, the Arafura file snake, was a long snake, but he wasn't the longest, and he was concerned that if he went into the well, that he wouldn't be able to climb out if it was too deep. So Montgomery grabbed onto a small bush on the ground next to the well with his tail, and he stretched into the well slowly to see how deep it was. Montgomery, the Arafura file snake, stretched and stretched his body inside the well. It was dark and cool. All he could see were some bugs inside, and he kept going inside the well to see if he could fit in, and it seemed to be going down further. And when Montgomery was stretched out as far as he was able to stretch, he thought he could go a little more. So he loosened his grip on the bush with his tail a little bit, and as he did, the weight of his whole body was too heavy for his tail to hold on to. His tail kept grabbing hard to the bush, but his body was so heavy now, the bush ripped up out of its roots, and Montgomery, the Arafura file snake, fell into the well. The well was just deep enough for Montgomery to fall in and not get hurt, but it was actually too deep for him to climb out, and there was only a little water left in the well. It hasn't rained in months, and the well was drying up. "I don't think there's enough water for me to swim in here," Montgomery said to himself. Montgomery tried climbing up the well, but couldn't. He tried to stretch all the way up, but he was just not long enough to be able to climb out and pull himself out of the well. Montgomery was scared. He didn't know what to do. He tried to climb out, but he couldn't. He was starting to panic. "I think this is it," said Montgomery, the Arafura file snake. "This is how I go. Goodbye, cruel world." And as Montgomery, the Arafura file snake, looked up at the light and dramatically said his piece, he laid his head down, thinking of all the things he didn't get to enjoy in his life. Just then, a group of human kids came walking by. They were just exploring the forest, looking for some random things when they stumbled upon the small well on the ground. And the human kids looked inside the well, and the kids saw Montgomery, the Arafura file snake, in the well. And they were worried. "Whoa, I think I see a snake," one of the kids yelled. "It looks stuck down there." Another kid asked, "What should we do? How can we help it?" The kids all ran and went to the nearest adult they could find. One of the kids said to Montgomery the Arafura file snake before they left, "Hey, Snake, just wait right here. We'll be back with some help, okay? Don't move." Montgomery the Arafura file snake didn't know what to do. He just saw some human kids yelling at him. Whatever was happening, Montgomery had no choice but to stay down in the well because he couldn't even get out. Montgomery the Arafura file snake waited and waited for the human kids to come back. He waited so long that he became tired and started to drift off to a deep sleep. And after a few minutes, the kids came back. And Montgomery was so excited that he wasn't alone. Montgomery yelled out to the kids, "Hey, you guys, can you help me out?" One of the kids replied, "Hey, Snake, don't worry. I'm gonna dig down and get you." Montgomery was surprised. He knew how hard the ground was, and he couldn't imagine digging down the ground himself. It was too hard. If this kid was able to dig down the hard ground, this kid must be some sort of strong human kid. Montgomery replied, "Thank you. I hope you're strong enough to dig the ground." After a few minutes, Montgomery felt the well wall next to him start to loosen up and break apart, and then it broke open. And after the dust settled inside the well, Montgomery saw the kid on the other side of the hole. The human kid said, "Hey, Snake, I'm here to rescue you." Montgomery said, "Oh, thank you so much for saving me." The kid grabbed Montgomery the Arafura file snake, and then he climbed up and out of the hole and held Montgomery up into the sun. While everyone cheered and Montgomery was blinded by the bright sun after being in the well for so long. And Montgomery looked away, and all of a sudden, he woke up from his deep sleep, and it was dark and cool. Montgomery said to himself, "It was all a dream. No wonder I was able to talk to the human and the human was able to talk to me." And Montgomery was still stuck in the well. "I guess I'm never getting out of here," said Montgomery to himself. But just then, the human kids came running back, and they brought a human adult with them. The adult looked inside the well with a flashlight and told the kids to stay while he went to grab a ladder. The adult went to grab a long enough ladder to fit in the well so that the snake could climb out. When the adult came back and started to drop the ladder into the well, they figured out it wasn't long enough to touch the bottom. So the adult ran to get a rope. Maybe that would be long enough. The adult ran back and started dropping the rope, but the rope wasn't long enough either. And so the human adult told the kids that they should all go back home and that it was going to rain soon. The human kids left and the adult went away to find something else to put in the well that was long enough. As Montgomery the Arafura file snake was left alone, he felt a drop of water on his nose. Then some more, and some more water drops. And he saw that it was rain. It was raining, and the rain was getting into the well. It wasn't just any rain. It was a thunderstorm, and it rained so much that it was actually filling up the well, and water poured down into the well, and the well was filling up with water. Before, it was almost dried up. But now, it was getting half full of water. Good thing for Montgomery that he was able to swim in water. And as the rains kept pouring down and the water was filling up the well, the adult human came running back with an even longer ladder. And the kids ran behind him. But as the humans got to the well, they looked, and the well was overflowing with water. That's how much it rained. And not only that, Montgomery the Arafura file snake swam up and out of the well and was able to wave his tail at the humans as a way of saying thank you. And then the humans were all relieved that the Arafura file snake was safe. And the human kids and adult walked away. As the rain started to die down and eventually stop, Montgomery was so thankful that the humans were trying to help him the whole time. And even though Montgomery, the Arafura file snake, was able to swim out of the well, for him, just knowing that there were others who were ready to help a random snake no matter what made him feel really good. And he learned a really big lesson. Never stick your head down a well. And the Arafura file snake lived happily ever after. The end. The Arafura file snake is also known as the Acrochordus arafurae, or elephant trunk snake, and is an aquatic snake species found in northern Australia and New Guinea. The Arafura file snake is almost exclusively in water, and they can struggle to move on the ground due to their baggy skin. Their name is from their rough file-like skin texture, which is rough like a file tool that allows them to hold on to their prey tightly. They're light brown, gray, and have a distinct black pattern that starts at the head and forms crossed bands all the way down the snake's body. Adults can grow up to 8 feet long. They are mostly nocturnal and live in many different areas like lagoons and flooded grasslands and mangrove forests, and they mainly feed on fish. They are non-venomous and can look scary, but they are docile, harmless snakes, and they can live up to 10 years old. Arafura file snakes may also be found in saltwater, and you can most likely see them in lowland lakes, rivers, and wetlands. The Arafura file snake is ovoviviparous, which means the eggs are developed and hatched inside the female. And after gestation, the female gives live birth to litters from 10 to almost 30 baby snakes. Have you seen a real-life Arafura file snake before? If you have, where did you see it? Thanks for listening to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. Until next time, bye! If your child enjoys cats, drawing, or writing, you might also like my Everyday Cats Journals. They're a 4-book journal series, each with fun covers showing cats with human bodies doing silly and everyday things. Inside, kids can look for little objects from the cover that appear in the top corners of the pages and try to find them all as they write or doodle. The Everyday Cats Journals are available on Amazon. You can find all the details in the show notes.